is BCNU News. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is your breaking news. Just in, we discovered ships coming from West Africa with many different colors of people that they are intending to use for slaves. I'm Ron Burgundy with your daily news. In the beginning, the Portuguese captured Africans along the coast, which is where we found our witness to be interviewed. Buford T. Washington, come on to the show. Do you mind telling us your story?
Yeah, well, so I was just, was hiding in some of the tall grass, and they came on their boats, and they tied up my friends and my family, and it was pretty sad, and, but they couldn't find me. I was, you hear about the famous hide-and-go-seek competitions in West Africa. I'm the reigning champ for years. I've won ever since I was born.
Really?
Yeah, my parents lost me in a Walmart.
Makes sense. Didn't they have Walmarts in Africa though?
They're very common. But yeah, I mean, we kind of bounced back from that, and then they came back, and that was no bueno.
No bueno.
No, well, see, they came from up here, and they shimmied on down the coast, and then they took them over there, and they traded them for coffee, sugar, and gold, and then they went back to their home, because that's where their fancy and rich beds were. So they like the high life.
I bet they do.
We don't have the high life. They're slaves. I'm the best at hiding, so I'm not a slave.
Yeah. Well,
maybe I shouldn't be a slave. My dad keeps saying I need to get a job. I just don't see what the problem is with me being 23 and living in this basement.
I don't see a problem there either. I don't know what's gone into his head.
I don't know. I don't know what's gotten into your mustache either.
What about it?
Nothing. It's perfect.
Alright, well, we need to get you off the show because there's more interviews to be heard. So.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was. Now, go home. Thank you, Buford T. Washington, for your story. Moving on, though, we are going to interview a slave that was unfortunately caught by slavers, but then escaped a couple years later. Take it away, Jim.
I was personally enslaved starting when I was only 8. I was playing with my friends in my village on the African countryside. I was abducted along with my friends by a band of slavers. They carried us away from our village and tied our hands and forced us to walk till dark. We stopped at a small house and stayed there for weeks until we were transported to the coast and there forced to board vessels. With hundreds of other slaves, and as we were being shipped to the Americas, I can say that living conditions were not sanitary or safe. They were not much better even when we arrived. We haven't had an adequate meal or any adequate nutrition for days, and most of us caught diseases or fell victim to infections from working terrible labor of 16-hour days, 6 days a week.
Good to see you still in one shape, Jim. Moving on, though, we will finish this segment off with a Better Interviews. That is a summary created by Alex.
Arrival of slave ship in the West Africa. The name of the ship was the Schooner Clotilda, which smuggled African captives into the U.S. in 1860, more than 50 years after importing slaves was outlawed. This is the slave ship that smuggled Africans. Ships deported from Europe to Africa in markets with manufactured goods, which were traded for purchased or kidnapped.
I'm Ted Turquoise, here to close off the show. Again, this was about the slave ship in West Africa. And unfortunately, Ron had to go. He was captured by some of the slavers, and he's gone now. But
What are you doing?
What?
What are you doing?
This is my show now.
No, it's not. I was only on my lunch break.
I want to shit.
You guys, get out of here. End the show. This is Rob Burgundy
And Ted Turquoise.
from BCNU News. And one thing to say. Stay classy, Mrs. Gordon. Go. Sorry. This is Rob Burgundy from
And this is Ted Turquoise.
from BCNU News. So, you want to, explain your story?
This is my
in
mustache now.
you're gonna go, like, get lost in Walmart. I don't know.
Yeah, Walmart is a good idea. There were Walmarts back then, right? I'm just so glad we're doing this project. I love Mrs. Gordon.
I know. She like ranks right underneath Mr. Nance.
Oh, for sure.
Jim.
I was personally enslaved starting when I was only 8.